For nearly 3 decades, Tupac's death has been treated like a closed chapter. But now, newly resurfaced files, long-buried statements, and fresh arrests are reopening questions many believed would never be asked again. Names once considered untouchable are suddenly back in the conversation, including figures who were closer to Tupac than most fans ever realized. From last-minute absences to shifting blame to allegations that were sealed and forgotten, the story is no longer as simple as it once seemed. What if the truth wasn't lost, but deliberately buried? Previously sealed files have resurfaced and brought several well-known names back into public discussion, starting with Snoop Dogg. One viral reaction online asked, "Is anyone going to mention how Snoop Dogg could have stopped what happened to Tupac?" The release of these long-dormant files has stirred strong emotions among fans who believe Tupac should still be alive today. The recently unsealed material includes comments from Faison Love, who suggested that Snoop may have had the ability to prevent the situation from escalating.
I always felt when Pac died, it was because Snoop could have stopped that whole thing. I mean, because like I said, Snoop was a Crip, and Pac offended some Crips, doing some gang shit, some dumb nigga gang shit, really. It was set off a whole chain of events. You know niggas in LA don't get mad, they get even. So, you want a real Pac story? That's my Pac story. Pac would be alive today if he had stayed allies with Snoop and not cross Snoop. Snoop, just think about it. Out of all the songs Pac did, he only did one with Snoop.
A headline circulating online reads, "Faison Love says Tupac is gone because of Snoop Dogg. He could have stopped it." While this reflects Faison Love's opinion, it has reignited debate about Snoop Dogg's proximity to the events surrounding Tupac's death.
With Tupac, though, in regards to Tupac, I heard a story, did you give him different advice that night on where to go?
I didn't give him no advice.
Right.
We wasn't seeing eye to eye.
Right.
So.
Saying during the Tyson.
Yeah, this incident that I'm explaining to you right now was the day before that.
Okay.
So when they got to Vegas, they went their way, I went back. I mean, when we got to LA, they went to Vegas and I went home. That's why I wasn't in the car with them.
Snoop Dogg's name appears in connection with the case through police documentation, in which Detective Russell Poole reportedly theorized that Suge Knight may have arranged Tupac's killing before the rapper could leave Death Row Records, later attempting to misdirect investigators by pointing blame toward rival Crips. According to those investigative notes, authorities also considered Snoop Dogg as someone others tried to shift suspicion toward, largely because of his high-profile reputation and alleged street affiliations at the time. What adds another layer is that Snoop was originally expected to be in the BMW with Tupac the night of the shooting. Snoop has publicly stated that he was meant to be there, but didn't attend due to last-minute changes, which he later attributed to tension between him and Tupac days earlier.
Last time me and Tupac was on the same page, and I did an interview with Angie Martinez, and she asked me how did I feel about Puffy and Biggie, and I told her that I liked their music and I want to do music with them. Death Row didn't like that, Tupac didn't like that, so we had a misunderstanding. So on the flight back to LA, I didn't feel comfortable around them for what they had did, as far as I didn't let my security ride with me. So to protect myself and to prevent from happening, I slept under a blanket with the knife and the fork just in case something was to go wrong, but it didn't.
Because these developments occurred within roughly 72 hours of the incident, investigators reportedly found the timing unusual. At that point in the 1990s, Snoop was far more closely connected to street culture than he is today. Some observers speculate that he may have heard warnings through associates and chose to distance himself, though there is no confirmed evidence supporting this. In another interview, Snoop himself acknowledged believing that Tupac disliked him shortly before the shooting.
I say a week before he died, we was best of friends. 2 days before he died, I don't think he liked me.
Why?
Because we was in New York.
Oh, yeah.
And shit had happened. New York niggas had shot at me and did all kind of shit to me, like just the worst shit you could think of. And I forgave him. And went and did an interview and was asked, how do I feel about Puffy and Biggie? And I was like, I like them niggas, I want to do some music with them. And that just rubbed Cuz the wrong way, like, nigga, fuck them niggas. Them niggas tried to kill me. Niggas shot at you, and you talking about you want to do a song with them niggas? I wasn't thinking about his emotions. I was thinking about the way I felt at the time. Mm-hmm. I wasn't into no controversy. I liked them niggas' music. They was our friends. We was all friends at one point. There's video footage of all of us hanging out.
Mm-hmm. Attention then shifts to Sean Diddy Combs, who has also been discussed in relation to Tupac's death. In the Reckoning documentary, contributors suggested that Diddy admired Tupac's influence and cultural impact, with some interpreting that admiration as rivalry. These claims reflect opinions shared by interviewees rather than established facts.
Tupac was a shining example of everything that Diddy wanted to be, and he was that naturally. He was charismatic, he was sought after, desired, he was very well liked and a naturally likable person. He was charming, he actually had intrinsic talent, he was a star. He was what Diddy tried to force his way into becoming. Diddy, through force, through manipulation, through fear-mongering, tried to become loved and adored and liked, but all he could manage is like a twisted clone of that he was able to garner through fear. But back to my original point, he thought he triumphed over Tupac by when actually what he did was make Tupac immortal. And by Diddy continuing to live and earn more wealth and, in his mind, earn more adoration, he thought he triumphed. He thought he won overall.
Reports cited in the documentary allege tensions rooted in personal relationships. It has been noted that Sarah Chapman, who later had a child with Diddy in 2006, had previously been romantically linked to Tupac in 1995. Detectives reportedly examined this timeline, noting that Tupac was photographed with Chapman on November 18, 1995. According to commentary presented in the film, this situation may have contributed to personal resentment, though no official finding confirms such motives.
The documentary further claims that an earlier attempt on Tupac's life failed, and that later developments were discussed during legal proceedings and interviews. One former officer alleged that a large financial incentive was involved, though these statements remain unproven and contested. The same narrative suggests retaliation following Tupac's death, leading to further violence, though these points remain allegations rather than legal conclusions.
All four of those occasions are San Diego, Anaheim, Irvine, and Vegas. Which ones do you actually talk to Puffy at?
Every one.
Every one of them. Which of those four is it when you talk to him about Tupac?
It was really about both of them. Either one. It was
Tupac and Suge, you mean?
Yeah.
According to interrogation footage released years later, Keefe D stated that he had meetings with Diddy and described his own role in organizing the attack. These statements have been widely debated and have not resulted in a conviction linking Diddy to Tupac's death.
Now, it was this documentary that claimed, which we know wasn't true.
Yeah, check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there, with all due respect, but I appreciate you as a journalist asking.
All right.
Thank you.
Because listen, 7 years ago, I'd have been like, yo, did you hire somebody to kill Pac? But no, you do it like a journalist.
Yeah, no, I mean, we wouldn't even get into nonsense like that. You know what I'm saying? It's nonsense.
Which we never believed, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
As these claims resurfaced, Diddy was questioned in interviews about his past, creating visibly tense moments. In recent legal filings tied to the renewed investigation, Diddy's name reportedly appears multiple times, though he has not been formally charged in connection with Tupac's death. Interestingly, Tupac's biographer offered a contrasting perspective, stating that Tupac was not built for street life and struggled with the persona he felt pressured to adopt. The author described Tupac as someone who internalized an image that wasn't fully his own, suggesting that this contradiction ultimately placed him in dangerous situations. Despite decades passing, the renewed attention has prompted Las Vegas authorities to review documentary claims and previously overlooked material. Some sources speculate about possible future legal action, though no official announcements have been made. Public figures like 50 Cent have openly expressed long-standing criticism of Diddy, repeating their belief that justice has yet to be served, a stance rooted in personal opinion rather than legal outcome.
Although additional documents later surfaced about what happened on the day Tupac was attacked, some details were already outlined in official files. According to those records, on September 7, 1996, Tupac was in Las Vegas with Suge Knight attending a Mike Tyson boxing match. After the event ended, they were involved in a confrontation with a known gang affiliate referred to as Baby Lane.
Knight and their entourage went to the Mike Tyson, the MGM Grand. Keefe D and his nephew, Orlando Lane Anderson, and two of their friends were also there. Keefe D told LAPD Detective Greg Kading more than a decade ago, in a proffer that couldn't be used against him, the shooting was retaliation after Tupac jumped Orlando and up at the casino. Surveillance cameras recorded the fight. Tupac was angry that Lane had stolen his necklace years prior in Compton. Tupac, Suge Knight, and the entourage left the casino quickly.
Security quickly stepped in and broke up the fight. Tupac then returned to his hotel room to change before heading out again. Around 11 p.m., Tupac and Suge Knight got into their BMW and began driving toward a nightclub. While stopped at an intersection, an SUV pulled up beside them. Inside were Keefe D and 3 other individuals, and shots were fired into the vehicle.
About Tupac's concert at the Club 662. Members, including Orlando and Keefe D, jumped in their white Cadillac and started cruising the strip looking for the offender. Before long, they finally spotted Tupac's caravan. At the intersection of East Flamingo Boulevard and Koval Lane, the white Cadillac pulled alongside the black BMW with Suge on the driver and Tupac on the passenger seats. The back window of the Cadillac rolled twice in the chest, once in the arm, once in the thigh.
For years, the case remained unresolved. Eventually, investigators revisited a public interview in which Keefe D spoke about the incident and described the moments leading up to Tupac being shot. In that interview, he suggested the shooting was an act of self-defense, claiming Tupac appeared to be reaching for a weapon. However, no official police reports ever confirmed that Tupac was carrying a firearm, making that claim unverified. Some believe Keefe D may have assumed he would avoid charges by presenting the situation this way.
And Bubble Up was the driver, and Baby Lane and Freaky were in the backseat.
We was just all in the car together. Okay.
This was the white Cadillac.
Yeah.
So you guys are driving around, and then you hear these girls say, Tupac, Tupac.
Got to the light. He was going to go drink, and he happened to be hanging out the window. He was hanging out the window like he was in a parade.
Tupac?
Yeah, he was.
So what happens next? You said that as you're driving up towards the BMW, with Suge driving and Tupac in the passenger seat.
Following the release of that interview, another piece of footage resurfaced showing police questioning from the night of the shooting. This recording indicates that authorities had already identified Keefe D as a person of interest. He was detained and questioned in connection with the case, but was later released without charges at the time.
You say Suge looks over, he sees you?
Yeah.
He looks right at you?
Yeah, he looks at me.
Okay. When he looks over at you, and then, Tupac's busy getting evidently, the story is Tupac's trying to either get out of the
back seat or something.
Yeah, what do you see happening inside of their car?
I seen him going Suge head. I thought he was.
So Orlando Johnson started across Dre.
He leaned over on the window, we rolled down the window.
In recent years, Keefe D has publicly expressed remorse for his involvement in what happened. However, those statements came decades after the incident and did not change the outcome of the case. Things take a more controversial turn when certain documents and interviews fuel speculation that Tupac may have survived longer than officially reported. What is confirmed is that Tupac did not pass away at the scene. He remained hospitalized for several days before his death was announced. This gap in time has led some to question what occurred behind the scenes. One former officer later claimed in an interview that Tupac was initially viewed by industry insiders as someone who could help reduce tensions between rival street groups. This idea, however, remains an opinion rather than a proven fact.
It turns out when I talked to Tupac's longtime mentor, political mentor, former Black Panther Chokwe Lumumba, who was his first business manager, he's told me, I basically asked, well, was Tupac only pretending to be in order to appeal to gangs and politicize them? And he said yes. And that was part of his thug life agenda that he came up with his imprisoned stepfather, Tupac Shakur. And so Tupac was just using that in order to get the leaders to call peace truces, first in Los Angeles, then throughout California, and then throughout the country. And that was why he was pretending to be this type. And really, he was just an intellectual prodigy.
Tupac was clearly the intended target of the shooting. Some theorists suggest that if powerful figures were involved in managing his image or influence, plans may have changed once the situation became too serious. Adding to the speculation is a 2010 interview with a close friend of Tupac named Trey, conducted 14 years after Tupac's death. During the interview, the cameraman unexpectedly asked Trey when he last saw Tupac. Trey responded by saying he last saw him in Cuba. What stood out to viewers was that Trey answered calmly, without questioning why he was being asked about someone who was officially deceased. Not long after that interview circulated, a website shared a video claiming to show Tupac alive in Cuba. The footage was never verified, but it quickly gained attention online.
Zoom in. That's Pac, man. He with the outlaws. And Reg from Holla Back trying to be friendly and get autographed. Holla Back exclusive, baby. Holla Back.
This is where the long-running Tupac and Cuba theory gained momentum, especially since Cuba is also the country where Tupac's aunt later lived. Another figure who added to the speculation was Suge Knight. In multiple interviews, Suge stated that Tupac was alive and recovering when he last saw him in the hospital. In one interview, Suge said, "When I left that hospital, me and Tupac were laughing and joking. I don't understand how someone could be doing fine and then suddenly not."
I mean, when I left that hospital, me and Pac was laughing and joking. So I don't see how somebody can turn from doing well to doing bad.
So you seriously think that he might still be alive?
I'm gonna tell you this, Pac, you never know.
However, official medical reports indicated that Tupac was heavily sedated at the time, which would have made such interactions unlikely. Despite this, Suge repeated the same account in interviews conducted years apart, maintaining consistency in his version of events.
He was conscious on the way to the hospital.
He was conscious on the way to the hospital. He was conscious in the ambulance. He was conscious after they did the surgery.
What was the last thing that he said to you?
They left.
Shortly after one of those interviews, Suge Knight himself was injured during a shooting at a nightclub. Suge later suggested he was targeted because he continued to speak publicly about Tupac. The situation became even more controversial when Suge Knight Jr. posted on Instagram claiming Tupac was still alive, at one point suggesting he was living in Malaysia. Days later, he shared messages implying he was being pressured or threatened for speaking about Tupac. He then posted edited images of Tupac alongside modern celebrities like 50 Cent and Beyoncé, captioning one post, "He never left us. They'll be after me soon." Many observers, however, have questioned Suge Knight Jr.'s credibility and believe these posts were made for attention rather than based on verified information.